The last time that Dale Earnhardt Jr. won a Sprint Cup race was 3 years ago here at MIS. The difference between then and now, he's a contender, sitting at third place in the Sprint Cup standings. The Dodgers' #1 draft pick, Zach Lee, came into Wednesday's game with a record of 5-1 and an ERA of 3.47. The fans continue to show up in droves because they know he won't be around for very long. Before Ruth, Gehrig, Williams, and even Robinson, there was John Clarkson of the Saginaw Old Gold who brought baseball to mid-Michigan. Nowadays, a group of true fans keep his spirit and the game they love alive.
Welcome to the world of vintage baseball.
For those who have ever wanted to experience baseball at its purest, an old-time baseball game may be for you.
We play with no bleachers, no fences, no gloves, a whole lot of courage, and a whole lot of pain.
It's a gentleman's game. No trash talking, foul language. They even ask politely to ring a bell when a run is scored. It's the culture of a time gone by that brings these players back.
There is an umpire, but typically the players are the ones that rule the game in respect of calling themselves out or safe, whatever it may be. The gentlemen that are out there certainly are playing it to the best of their abilities in a gentlemanly manner.
While some terminology may be different, such as runs are called aces and outs are called hands, one thing remains the same: passing on the love of the game to future generations.
We have to get the young people involved, and naturally we want to see this thing to grow into 1,000 people to show up to see a ball game.
It may not be a cornfield in Iowa, but for those who love baseball, this is a field of dreams. I'm Mark Corlish, NBC 25 Sports. Loon's first baseman, Blake Dean, is one of those players who just loves to play the game. One of his favorite memories isn't at the plate or in the field, but rather on the mound.
The one that sticks out the most is probably when I was rooming with Tollison. I used to pitch, and most people don't ever know I knew I pitched. So I pitched on the U.S. team with Tollison, so that's my earliest memory.
Dean isn't all baseball all the time, though. When the Loons do get that much-needed day off, he hits the links and just enjoys his free time.
Every off day we get, we basically go to the golf course if it's not raining. So that's all we do. We go out there, play a little golf, and try to relax as much as we can.
Being from Florida, Dean also likes to switch out his bat and ball for a rod and reel.
And I like to hunt and fish when I'm back home in the off season. So I try to, I live around the water, so I normally do a lot of that.
When the fishing is done, it's a campfire and country music that puts Dean in a good mood.
I like a little bit of everything. I like Hank Williams Jr. stuff, and I like, Jason Aldean stuff, so a whole bunch of, just a mix.
It's hard not to like the Loons' Blake Dean, not only because he has 17 RBIs, but because he loves the game and where he comes from. Trust me when I say this country boy will survive. I'm Mark Corlish, NBC 25 Sports. Detroit Tiger fans flocked to Jim Waldron Buick GMC in Davison today, and no, it wasn't because there was a great sale on cars. They were there for a meet and greet with Tigers ace Justin Verlander. Earlier today, Verlander signed autographs and posed for pictures with many adoring fans. And it's easy to see why the right-hander is all smiles these days with a 9-3 record and an ERA of just 2.54. He has been particularly dominant in the month of June with a 4-0 record and a razor-thin 1.06 ERA. Verlander is a shoo-in for the All-Star game on July 12th, but may not be able to pitch because his final start before the break would take place too close to the game. But JV has the long-term picture in mind.
Of course, you want to be able to play and represent your team in the All-Star game. But first and foremost, it's about the Detroit Tigers. It's about representing the city of Detroit and my team on the field in this city. Winning baseball games for this team and a team that wants to go to the divisional playoffs. So if I start the last game of the first half, so be it. Because that gives us a chance to win another baseball game.
Verlander and the Tigers got a much-needed day off today after a West Coast road trip that did not go quite the way they had hoped. Only winning 2 out of the 6 games, Detroit did end it on a positive note, however, hitting 4 home runs in yesterday's 7-5 triumph over the Los Angeles Dodgers. Tigers are still a game back behind Cleveland in the AL Central and will host the Arizona Diamondbacks beginning tomorrow night. Arizona and first-year manager Kirk Gibson, that's right, Gibby will be back at Comerica Park. Right now, he has the Diamondbacks leading the NL West. The NBA draft from Newark, New Jersey is finally upon us. Teams are looking to fill in missing pieces, and young men are hoping to fill in those voids. Former Michigan point guard Darius Morris is among those who are looking to be that perfect fit. Morris could be off the boards near the end of the first round and possibly as early as the 17th overall pick. Former Big Ten Player of the Year, Kalen Lucas, however, may be in for a bit of a rough night, as the former Michigan State University point guard may not hear his name called. Scouts say a lack of size and no true position at the next level could mean Lucas will not be picked up by any team. It's quite a sad story about Lucas, but you know what? The fans in Davison certainly did get a surprise out there today with Justin Verlander showing up.
Traffic almost brought to a standstill. Very popular guy.
Yep, absolutely.
Great chance of the Cy Young. All right, thanks, Mark. We'll be back after this.
You're watching NBC 25 News at 6.